vertical, which is in the marketing and advertising side. However, what we're talking about fundamentally is around machine learning, and it's horizontal in nature. So it can actually hook into wearables as well as the Internet of Things. So just keep that in mind, though I'm talking about the vertical about marketing. You know, I don't know about you, but I get these random ads. I travel the world. You know, after this, I'm off to Beijing, and then off to Seoul, and then to London. And I get these random ads all over the place. And recently, for some reason, I've been getting these ads for tuna and cat litter. So I said to myself, what type of a persona am I to marketers? And I wondered about that, and I thought about it, and there it is. Apparently, this is who I am. And of course, my question is, how did they get my photo in the first place? Like I said, I travel a lot, and I oftentimes have to rush through the airport to catch my connection flight. And one time I was traveling and I got this notification on my phone for a Burger King advertisement. I thought, gee, I'm like trying to rush to catch my next connection flight. Well, like any reasonable person would do, I missed my flight and had a hamburger instead. I think that was a good decision. I don't know. Well, we are bombarded with annoying ads every day, and we can't seem to escape it. The phone, laptop, streaming, content, and matter of fact, they won't even leave us alone in the toilet stall. So in my presentation, I want to describe the current situation in terms of issues around advertising and marketing. And this would make more sense in terms of how we're using machine learning analytics along with wearables and IoT. And how is that solution possible, and what are the potential benefits that we gain from that? Moreover, I'm going to actually, in addition to the marketing vertical, I'm going to cover a few additional use cases such as financial services, automotive, and other cases including manufacturing, just to get a sense in terms of how the future of analytics is progressing. And in terms of a live demo, which I was presenting to do, because I'm having to resort to using their laptop instead, and they're not able to support AirPlay, I'm going to hold up my iPad, and I hope that you have great 20/20 vision to see that on my iPad. In case you're wondering who you are seeing in this picture, you're not the one that's holding the weapons. I can tell you that. And today's paradigm is very much broken from a marketing perspective. And the reason for that is that, as you can see, we're literally beating the customers to death. Whether you want it or not, you will see this ad, or you will purchase this product, or you will purchase this service from us. We don't like that, do we? More so from an advertiser or from a brand perspective, the key to insights is really around understanding the human or the actual persona of the customers, right? And that applies not only for marketing purposes, but also for sales and customer service. But the problem is that the insight that we have in terms of the tool set that we use is very limited. I mean, for online, we're talking about clicks, shares, likes. There's got to be more. Now, what you're seeing are the reasons for ad blocking. Now, today's throw darts an approach to customer engagement leads to annoyance, right? Loss in sales, or worse, tarnished brand reputation. Now, here's a chart from IAB, the Internet Advertising Bureau, and that shows why people are enabling ad blocking technologies. And what it highlights, if you look at the top two or so, is that it's showing that the timing and the relevance are off, way off. Basically, what this chart shows is all the different ways that advertisers try to know you. And we, of course, call it innovation. As a matter of fact, I had a private event with ad agencies, and they found that quite humorous. Well, this annoyance thing, well, it also happens to me personally as well. I don't know about you, but I have a couple of kids, and when they were very little, they used to find humor in the darndest things. They come up to me and punch me in the stomach, and when I showed any type of pain or agony, they thought that was the funniest thing. Well, now I have this niece who's 2 years old, and for some reason, when I come and visit them, She doesn't say hi, she doesn't hug me. She just comes up to me very slowly, very methodically, and then wham! She will stomp on my foot just to see what that reaction was like. And by the way, I'm her favorite uncle. You should see the way she treats other people. 80% of the data today is unstructured and untapped. And this is something that we don't hear too much about in the vertical about advertising and marketing, but this is universal. Regardless of what industry you are in, this is a truth. Now, the problem is this unstructured data is unfortunately the majority. I mean, it's in the messaging platforms, in the WeChat, it's in the videos, it's offline, it's in the retail context. And we call that dark data. And advertisers can't make heads or tails out of it. But imagine if they could, what that would mean. It means that they would actually start to understand their customers much better. They would get better insights. Well, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the ability to be able to use deep analytics, in particular the use of artificial intelligence, to start to look through this unstructured data set. So what do we do? Well, let's make sense of that 80% of unstructured data. The concept of human data analytics is about using AI, machine learning, mobile, wearable data. So you saw that panel on wearable data, and they asked a question, and you asked a question, what is it for, and how can we actually help you? Well, it's actually making sense of that data. Moreover, it's taking information from the Internet of Things. So we're actually partnering, working with the 2020 Tokyo Olympics and the US Olympics for the Paralympics in Rio this year, for instance. It's taking environmental information, it's taking the object information, the M2M, and being able to synthesize across multimodalities to get deep insights about how people are behaving, how people are thinking, how people are feeling. Speaking of unstructured data, I'm convinced that my wife is part of that data set. And I cannot for the life of me understand what she wants, thinks, or says. We'll be just randomly walking somewhere, and out of the blue, wham, she just punched me in the shoulder. And I said, what? What do you want? I don't get you. Well, there you have it. That's an example of unstructured data. So if you can figure out my wife and your spouse, you probably have something unique. Now what you're seeing here is this notion of multimodality and contextual data. So human data analytics resides in just about everything from instant messaging platform, social media content, app usage, email, to body language, movements, physiological and environmental data from wearables and the Internet of Things. And we turn that data into human data classifications and understand the intensity of that human emotion using sophisticated algorithms. Now, for some of you who are interested in the kind of the methodology behind the scene, this is one of the disciplines that we look at. It's the cognitive science side, which is a multidisciplinary field that looks across things like philosophy, linguistics, anthropology, neuroscience, computer science, and psychology to really understand the human aspects of their thoughts, their emotions, and behavior. Then we complement that with machine learning. Within computer science, we use artificial intelligence and machine learning to allow the computers to recognize objects, people's emotions, and their context, and even their speech. Now, this level of human engagement is incredibly valuable for brands and marketers because it allows them to more precisely, programmatically target them in a campaign using the dimensions of their emotion, their cognition, behavior, and context. In other words, how they feel, think, and behave. So imagine if you could understand your customers that intimately, what that would mean. The male species, and I intentionally use the term species instead of gender, we use this very unusual set of communication protocols. We grunt. So for example, when I grunt like this, that is an indication of something in terms of concurrence or affirmation. It basically means that I concur. I think that's a superb idea. Whereas, means stop bothering me, as in I'm busy watching football, right? Versus the long grunt. Means I feel your pain. I deeply empathize with the emotional trial that you're going through. Man, you understand what I'm saying? All right. But this is a good segue to talk about privacy. Privacy and security are of utmost concern for us. And at our firm, we strongly believe that data ownership resides with the users. And we architect using privacy by design in mind from the beginning, using advanced blockchain technologies, cryptography, to secure that peer-to-peer messaging as well as the file sharing in a decentralized computing environment. Moreover, we believe that the best regulation is self-regulation. No longer is the privacy framework that we've developed for mobile is sufficient for the era of the Internet of Things. It requires leadership at the industry bodies level to update the standards and best practices. So how exactly does human data analytics benefit the brands and companies? Well, it accurately targets a product or service when it's most desired. Because if you remember the first several slides that you saw, it's actually not that they don't like ads, believe it or not. The truth is that they just don't want it when it's not relevant. However, when you deliver a message or an advertisement that is timely, that is personalized, that in fact hits a home run with what they need, then it's highly welcome. And they're highly receptive. And what you're seeing here is that it's able to quantify consumers' emotional reaction to brand engagement, whether it's online or offline. It's able to drive campaigns and promotions based on context and emotional triggers. It's able to analyze unstructured data to reveal deep insights and patterns and relationships. And finally, it's able to increase brand loyalty and that emotional connection with your target segments. And for the analytics to be truly useful, it has to be real time in the moment. My son is at an age where he started to order his own entrees at restaurants. And he was convinced that he wanted this fettuccine alfredo on the menu. And then he sees this waitress carrying a stack of barbecue ribs. And he immediately changes his mind. Well, we are not that different. Just because we behaved in a certain way in the past does not indicate that we're going to behave in that same exact manner at this micro moment. And it's being able to understand our reaction, our intent, and the context in this moment. Because the next moment may be different. One thing that's very interesting is that, again, going back to the earlier slides, is that people don't like it when you push something onto them. We call it the push model. One of the ways or the paradigms that we're suggesting is this notion of influencer model. Basically, this is the way it works. It means that consumers prefer that they're in control. They want to make sure that the recommendations only comes when it's relevant, highly personalized, timely, and preferably comes from someone that they trust. And this is called the influencer model. So in the case of human data analytics that is inside, let's say, a messaging platform, let's just WeChat, WhatsApp, or Facebook Messenger, it's able to intelligently make sense of the in-stream conversations and identify when a real need arises. Moreover, rather than showing a brand message that directly targets a particular segment, And meaning, in other words, instead of just sending something that's directly to that end target consumer, it actually does a two-step. First step is using AI machine learning to do the computation to filter it down to what's the subset of the right message. Then it uses human computation, meaning the crowdsource. So in other words, if I'm chatting with this gentleman, and he's my influencer, the system's going to suggest to him what I'm talking about and what I want. So if we're having a conversation about my next upgrade in car, because my Prius is just too darn slow, even though it saves me money, maybe, but it doesn't save me my agony. System may actually suggest a Corvette or a Toyota, whatever it is. Because he knows me personally, he's going to filter that and then only share the recommendation that's relevant for me. So when I receive that, all of a sudden it's not this push model, but rather something that's highly personalized, that's coming as a personal recommendation. All right, so I've been intentionally talking about marketing, but what we're talking about is a horizontal capability under artificial intelligence. So I'm going to walk you through a few use cases to help you to understand what we're talking about and how this can be applied. So in financial services, robo-advisor is a major topic these days. And what's missing is the human component. So essentially, robo-advisor is this. Before in the past, if you wanted to talk about your investments, you would sit down with a financial advisor, right? Well, the robo-advisor is an automated asset allocation tool. So based on your risk tolerance questionnaire inputs, it will automatically come up with a model portfolio asset allocation. And the system automatically tracks your portfolio, your holdings, and then suggests rebalance based on the movement or fluctuations in the marketplace. Well, that's fantastic from a scalability and serving the masses, but where's the human factor? Because ultimately, how do you feel about managing millions of dollars of your net worth with a system? Maybe not as comfortable. So this is where we're working with a publicly traded financial services company to integrate human data analytics into the robo-advisor platform to add humanity back into an automated tool. For auto manufacturers, one of the things that they want to know is the emotional state of drivers. Do they love the way it drives? Before a new model is launched, they typically do something called a thrill test. So they will actually get random customer profiles to test drive their cars. So when I'm actually churning at 90 kilometers an hour, how did I feel? Or when I came to an abrupt stop, did I feel confident that the brakes will work? So in other words, they want to know, they want to be able to quantify your exhilaration, your fun, your delight. But the problem is that the current measurement tools are subpar, which means that they can't figure it out. They can't really figure it out without actually studying a videotape of your facial expressions and your reactions, which is all manual. But what we're doing is we're actually working with Japanese automaker to be able to actually embed human data analytics into the system itself. So that by listening to their voice, by listening to the speech, by watching their facial and their body language, we can systematically and empirically identify the level of exhilaration, thrill. In retail, human data analytics is being used to gauge product favorability in real time. When someone loves that purse or that outfit or the electronics, the system, which is a holistic system of wearables, environmental IoT, as well as smartphone, and things that's really on premise, we can start to actually recognize and then trigger contextual message to influence real-time purchase decisions. So here, we're actually working with a number of retailers, as well as other organizations that have a real retail presence. So one of the things that's very interesting is if there's a display, and you're looking at this display versus this display, we can actually start to understand the difference between my product favorability towards this set of category, which could be donuts, versus maybe the croissants and the pastries, for example. And when we recognize there's a strength and intensity around your product favorability, we can then call and send messages to the campaign management system or the CRM system to then send a real-time message, call to action on your phone or your smartwatch. And mirror that at the digital signage at the POS or the connected TV near you. From hospitality, restaurant, healthcare, airlines, cruise ships, to live events to amusement parks, there is an opportunity to use human data analytics to gauge customer satisfaction. I mean, why send an online survey after the fact? I travel like a lot, and I can't stand these airlines telling me after a flight has concluded, please come and fill out an online survey for us and tell us how we did. That is a broken process. I love Singapore. One of the things I love about Singapore is as soon as you arrive, you see this screen with happy, sad, angry faces. Wonderful. But it's event-driven, which means that I have to explicitly indicate how I feel. What we're talking about is a system that can automatically understand your level of customer satisfaction real time without you doing any kind of explicit event-driven action. So automated customer service satisfaction survey without the survey. Heavy industries, field service, steel manufacturing. Human data analytics can gauge fear, confusion, and even if you're in a potential accident-prone or dangerous circumstance. We're working with two different companies. One is called Amyx, which is a BYOD platform that allows for you to be able to bring in your wearable devices and IoT and provision it within the IoT compliance. The other one is called Daiquiri, which is a hard hat with an AR lens. So what it means is that in the future, when you have people that are working out on the pole, working in steel and construction, we can actually start to automatically understand whether it's from EEG, whether it's from computer vision, whether it's from the institution of fluids or the physiological parameters that we're picking up from the body, if that person is stressed, if that person is exposed to a live wire, if that person has fallen, and be able to automatically do something about it. And you heard some of that on the panel as an example. So we're going to play a quick video.
Most of us have become numb to advertising. Why? Because we find them irrelevant, intrusive, and frankly annoying. So why is the ad model broken? It's because it's a push model. The advertisers force these ads on us when we're simply not interested. Yet, most people indicate that if they have a real need and the ad is timely, then it's welcome. So the real challenge lies in understanding the timing and context. This is where Affectio's human data analytics platform comes in. Using our advanced, sophisticated algorithms, we're able to determine a person's frame of mind, state of emotion, context, and intent to determine what that person needs in real time. Affectio's human data analytics provide deep engagement metrics on messaging platforms, social media, apps, cloud, wearables, and the Internet of Things. Detect and classify emotions, understand group dynamics, interpret speech, text, and images, gauge biocognition, and understand context. Moreover, it uses an influencer model, so that once a need has been identified, the recommendation comes from an influencer that they know and trust. The result is something amazing. The consumer feels understood, and that recommendation is perceived as highly valuable. Affectio, we help you to identify what excites your customers and know when it's the most optimal time to engage them. Get deeper insights about how they feel, think, and behave. Affectio.
right, so who is ready for an interactive demo? I see that all of you are incredibly expressive and engaging. So I need one of you to volunteer to come up to the stage. We're just gonna have a great time. So who's gonna come up?
Sarah Weiss, UX Director at Down Hamilton, and welcome.
So you can cut the video. Thank you.
This roundtable on.
So I need one volunteer, so don't be shy. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of fun. So come on up and we're gonna actually demonstrate some of the technologies that I'm referring to in real time with you as an object, or subject, I should say. Please, let's go. No, you don't need to be shy. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Come on. I did not fly to Singapore to have no participants. So I'm committed to having participants, and we're gonna have fun. So please, who will come up? This presentation will not continue until we have a participant, I can assure you.
I'm good.
And by the way, perfect, thank you. By the way, in case you didn't know, I have bolted the locks on the doors so that, frankly, there's no exit. And we call it the captive audience. So we'll be part of that. So come on up. So tell us your name.
Kanika.
Kanika, wonderful. And you're based in Singapore?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do?
I run my own company,
What do you do?
digital transformation services.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, when you woke up this morning, did you think that you'd be on stage doing
No.
whatever you're supposed to be doing?
No.
Okay. Let me ask you, I see that you have a phone.
Yeah.
You have your badge. Have you ever thought about being a superhero?
Every day.
Every day, wonderful. So think about a superhero power,
Yeah.
whether that's flight, laser, whatever it is. And in 3 seconds, I want you to pose as if you have that superpower. Can you do that for me? And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually, you can't see it because they're not able to support AirPlay, but one of the applications with the API services that we hooked in is going to actually analyze her body language. Go ahead. So
I'm
this,
supposed to pose.
yep, you're supposed to act out your superhero.
Oh. I want to be rich.
Show us how rich looks like. Please have a seat. Would you like for me to feed you some grapes?
No.
No, please have a seat. What would that rich person look like for you? Okay,
You
that's
should have told me before that I'm supposed to pose.
all right. Relax, confident, no worries because the bank account is overflowing.
Yeah.
Totally overflowing. So what I've done for you in the audience is I've taken a photo of her, just so you know that none of this is doctored, right? It's actually going to the cloud and it's going to apply our human data analytics and it's going to analyze this. Can you come up here and read this for me just so that they know that I'm not actually concocting this on stage? Just go ahead and read the results from that, please, to the audience.
Okay. So it says, this looks like adult, people, one, seat, portrait. Also observed, it's a woman, in a room, furniture, sofa, music, indoors, technology, wear, facial, expression, girl, thank God, computer, leisure, happiness, recreation, sit.
Did you pick up on the leisure and happiness?
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that?
Yeah.
You are rich. You personify wealth. I love that.
Wow.
I love that. By the way, did I have to like script this down? This was automated. So let's have a brief conversation. If you had a choice, vacation, whatever things, or maybe you have kids?
No.
Okay, or you have siblings?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe a sibling that you dislike and you like for him or her to relocate someplace else. Think about some of those things. So imagine saying something funny on a messaging platform. What would you say? Just randomly.
You're such a jerk.
You are such a jerk. Oh my goodness. And this is being videotaped, right? Oh. And what does it say?
It's time to smile.
So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's quite awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So that was all automated. That was using the underlying machine learning capabilities that we're talking about. So the key takeaway here is that Consumers are sick and tired of annoying ads. And again, this presentation was around marketing, but what we're talking about is people are sick and tired of companies and brands not knowing what our needs are. That's really what we're talking about. And likewise, the industry is equally sick and tired of consumers complaining, right? Or installing ad blocks. So what's the solution? The solution is using artificial intelligence, machine learning, neural networks, what we call human data analytics, to better understand the human condition systematically. And the benefit for consumers is that it provides something highly personalized, on target, and it's done in an influencer-driven recommendation. And for brands and companies, they benefit from actionable insights, because remember, 80% of data is unstructured. So that means that now you can start to make sense of that data that you're collecting about your consumers, so that you can delight your customer every single time. And this capability can be integrated into a messaging application. It can be integrated into your work productivity applications. It can be hooked into the cloud directly. Know what excites your customers every single time. Make sense of unstructured data. Find out how you can incorporate human data analytics into your company, your app, or device. Thank you.